to We Ain't
Gang
Pros.
Pros.
So here's my love, John, and he's here to join me on this beautiful podcast. And today episode will be when we first figured out we were a Bears fan. Like, when did that start and what inspired us to be Bears fans? You go first.
Ladies first?
Ladies first, then.
Absolutely.
The reason why I became a Bears fan, I distinctly remember watching the '85 Bears, and they had a song. And I'm like, what? Super Bears Shuffle, the Bears Shuffle. And I was just like, I cannot believe football players are dancing together. And so that made me feel like I need to watch them. And then I started watching the games, and the most interesting moment was when the fridge picked up the football and he ran with it. I mean, this dude was like 300 pounds running with the football. And I thought to myself, this is so funny. So I couldn't stop watching. And ever since then, I became a true Bears fan because of the interaction of the Super Bowl shuffle, the fridge, all of the things that came with Fridge, his size and his mobility with his size. I just thought, like, this is so cool. And ever since then, I just stayed with football. How about you?
Well, I was 9 years old when I started watching football. And like I told you before we came on to the show today, I said my grandfather used to call Jim McMahon McHome. He messed up everybody's names on the team, but he was a diehard Cubs and Bears fan. So for me, the it factor was when Wilbur Marshall picked up the fumble in the NFC Championship game. And that it was just like, wow, because I mean, you got to remember these guys was hitting. It was different. The game was played different back then. When that ball got picked up and he ran back, and I knew we was going to the Super Bowl. 9 years old, I really didn't know. Like, wow, they going to the Super
I was
Bowl.
just thinking that, like, how did he know at 9
But
years old?
but my grandfather explained it. They going to the damn Super Bowl. You
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
That's all. It had to be big. So between my mother buying me merchandise and me watching that whole '85 season with the Chicago Bears, that was it for me. My mom, I had Chicago Bear pajamas, everything, and the Super Bowl Shuffle 45. So the Wilbur Marshall and my grandfather is the it factor for me.
Very cool. Okay. I never thought about Wilbur Marshall, but that's very inspiring. And based on, you know, our introduction to Chicago Bears and what made us fans, how does that compare to today's Chicago Bears? Do you think they had over the past, I mean, they've had a lot of trouble over the past 8 years. And so, with that being said, do you think that has impacted fan base, that people are not inspired like we were inspired, or
I think if I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give a few things. The Lovey Smith team
Mhm.
is the closest we got to the '85 Bears.
Correct.
And when we went through the carousel of coaches, why not have brought Lovey back? So it brings, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, morale down
That's
over the
it.
years.
Yeah.
That if I'm a GM, I'm gonna think about bringing Lovey back. At least ask him to come back and be a defensive coordinator if we're gonna go with another coach, because his defense kept us afloat.
Mhm.
Even though when he got fired, he was 10-6. I think the only problem with Lovey is he wasn't like our current coach, like Stern. Stern and just not taking no BS. I think if Lovey would have been a little tougher, then he would have stayed a little longer. And maybe we would have got that Super Bowl. But I think over the years, the morale is just down because they, like all other Chicago teams, don't want to spend the money to make us great. And got to remember, that '85 Bears team, they weren't multimillionaires on that team. That was guys that loved the game, that wanted to play the game. So as other factors come in with finding the right players, spending the right money, just balance everything out. So yeah,
So you think that bringing Lovey back at this moment is would be inspirational to our team?
I won't say inspirational to our team.
Bring up the morale?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Advisor or something. John Elway went back to Denver and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he played.
But as a GM, he returned back there.
He did
And,
return as a
and he brought
GM.
greatness back there with Peyton Manning, and they won a Super Bowl.
That's true. That is true. He did bring a level of energy, almost the same energy as former player for Detroit's coach, because he was a former player coach.
Yeah.
And so he brought back all kind of inspiration to let them make it through the playoffs and potentially win the Super Bowl because of the type of energy. But I don't see Lovey too much as being a former player coach that would come back and bring energy. Ryan Poles used to play for Lovey, so he didn't.
I mean, he was drafted. I mean, he didn't make the cut.
Yeah. So
he don't count.
he don't count. Okay. Well, what did you think about Ben Johnson today?
From what I see from the offense, and remember, he's coming in and revamping everything. So with that being said, I think it's gonna be something great.
It's gonna be something great.
Now, where we're gonna differ, I think, is that I think it's gonna be a quarterback shakeup. I'm not bad mouthing my squad, my team, but it's just something don't feel right. You know,
It doesn't feel right with Ben Johnson as the coach with the quarterbacks, or you feel like Ben Johnson has an alternative motive between Caleb and the other quarterbacks? Like, what are you saying?
I think, to be honest with you, to sign Badgett to a $10 million deal through 27, and he take it, is something there where he doesn't have a lot of confidence before the season even starts. He don't have that confidence in Caleb, and that's got me worried.
Yeah, I don't have confidence in Caleb, actually. I think Caleb is good for the moment. I question his football IQ. I like Badgley. I feel like Badgley hasn't been groomed like a Caleb has been groomed in terms of the school that he went to and the school that Caleb went to. You know, it's fundamentally different. It's like going from a public school to a private school. Public schools have okay equipment. Private schools have really good equipment, or well-funded schools have really good equipment. And so I see Badgley just being, he has potential, and I see Caleb with very good grooming, just not 100% there. And what makes me feel that way is some of the plays that he makes, not make plays, the decision, sitting in the pocket, things like that, that make me feel like, you know, I think you could have made a different decision. But again, that's us who sit on the other side and look and not be in the moment of having a football and having to make a decision. But again, me sitting behind watching other football quarterbacks in the same position make different choices. So, you know, I think there is some truth to why Ben Johnson is keeping Badgley and giving him money, because there may be an ulterior motive, or, you know, it could be that he wants like a solid quarterback team. Like if something happens to one, the other would step up. Who has been your favorite quarterback over the years?
Ew. Do it have to be from the Bears?
No, it doesn't have to be the Bears. We're Bears fans, but not necessarily the Bears.
They didn't give Justin enough time. I was really banking on Justin because he wasn't a big guy. He wasn't like, he didn't get a chance to develop. So
who's responsible for that?
The coaching in the office. They are responsible for bringing these people in. And you bring in garbage coaches, lazy coaches that do not want.
So you're calling Nagy, who is the offensive coordinator for the successful Kansas City, lazy?
Why couldn't he do it here?
Because he didn't have coaching skills. He has coordinator skills.
Well, again, so that's when you build around yourself. Come on, Ben Johnson brought in the best. Listen, he's not an expert in everything. That's my point. He brought in people, the right coaches for these players. He can't keep his eye on everybody.
Right. So it's a lot of things being said. Like, number one, You think Justin didn't get due justice because of Nagy, and Nagy didn't bring in the right people to support him, or Nagy wasn't a great coach? But again, if we talk about who you think your the best Bears quarterback was, that would be Justin in your eyes, had he been coached properly.
Had he been coached and they took the time to build around him, build around him.
Mm.
Nagy, you got an opportunity to coach one of the oldest, greatest franchises.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm Matt Nagy, I got to go into here. I got to draft a quarterback who I haven't seen play. I got to do all this. I got to have the right people around me. One, so I can keep my job, and let me try to be great. Nagy was cool. We had the best offense with him. Everything was smooth. We beat the Packers. We hadn't beaten them.
We beat them with a trick play.
We beat them.
We beat them.
Right. So my thing is you build around the front office, know what's going on. I'm gonna make sure you have nothing but the best Nagy around you. Justin, we're gonna get this offensive line together. You do your part, we do our part. Real simple.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
End of the day, we're gonna try to get you the best receivers we can at the time. Maybe free agency, we could make a move. But try.
Yeah. I agree, because we've gone through, since Lovey, we've gone through a number of coaches. We had John Fox, we had Trestman, then we had another coach. I forgot who was in between Trestman and Nagy. And then we had Eberflus, who just, that one call ended his job. But when we talk about quarterbacks and time things happen, this quarterback duel remind me of Cutler and I forgot.
Lovey?
No, the quarterbacks was McCaleb.
You mean
Yeah.
Wait.
So Cutler's backup quarterback stepped in and was amazing. But the team
Oh, Caleb Haney. That's
No.
him.
No, that's not him. But
Okay.
he was so good when he stepped in. He threw to Jeffries. I mean, we had so much energy. But at the end of the game, they would say the stupid thing, like they did with Rex Grossman. Yeah, Cutler's still our man. And it's like, what the hell? Why would you want him to be the main quarterback when we got a backup quarterback that could step in and do a much better job? It's McCown. McCown just had so much energy. He was our guy. And for some reason, we couldn't have that focus. But now I feel like it's the same thing with Ben Johnson having Caleb and Badgley. Caleb will do the job, and when he fails, he'll put Badgley in. And will he go with the Bears mantra, Caleb's still our guy, knowing that Badgley can come in and do a good job, like Cutler was still our guy, knowing that McCown was much better. But we kind of stuck with this ideology of we still got our main guy that couldn't play.
I think he's too much of a disciplinarian to sit up
Yeah.
here and BS
Yeah.
people. He's too much of a disciplinarian to sit up here and say, yeah, that's our guy.
Yeah.
But when they go to practice, man, go sit your ass down.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited about Ben Johnson, because I don't think he will succumb to these ideologies that go on, like, oh, I'm an okay quarterback. Oh, he's our guy. All this stuff. I think that he will be, Ditka, a reformed, straightforward Gen Z Ditka.
That's crazy. I was going to ask you today, like, do you think he's an updated version of Mike Ditka?
He is. He feels like a Gen Z Mike Ditka. And I'm happy about that, because we need that kind of stand-up guy who's not afraid to make a mistake and not afraid to say, I want him as my quarterback. But, we're still in preseason. So that's our prediction now, but we'll see how everything starts to fall out in a couple of weeks, because this Sunday is our next preseason game against Kansas City. Not that anything's going to happen It's the last of the opportunities for
Everybody's playing. The starting lineup is playing.
yeah, they'll get in there for a few minutes, but the goal is to see the rest of the team to see who should be signed to the Bears. So they'll do a showcase for the first 5 minutes, but again, it's not a real game. It's a real opportunity for people who are looking for a job. So yeah,
So my opinion is everybody keep talking about how unimportant the preseason is. The
it is.
preseason is important to the guys that want a job.
Right.
Like you said, they can showcase their talents for other teams. With that being said, I like the way Badgett played. I didn't get a chance to see except for highlights with Williams.
Caleb.
With Williams. I seen a few highlights and that's cool. But I like the way Badgett moved. I'm just Caleb. Just I don't know. It's some when a new coach come in and it's a quarterback already that poses problems out the door because the quarterback that's there might not fit the system that the coach is bringing in, and that causes a rift between the coach and the quarterback. So I hope we do good.
Yeah, I think we will figure this out the first 2 games. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. So thank you for joining us, and we ain't pros.